Today, if you're looking for Grand Theft Auto but without any of the charm, gameplay, or quality, MindsEye is here for you. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint. Please place all bags and coats into their own trays.
Empty your pockets and remove your belts.
But you can leave your shoes on.
We're freaky like that. It's Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary, still, probably. And the celebration just keeps spin-dashing. Sega is taking great pains to ensure that everyone gets a chance to enjoy Sonic by discontinuing support for a whole bunch of games on iOS and Android. The games in question are from Sega's Classics series and includes two well-known Sonic the Hedgehog games, Sonic CD Classic and Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. I'm assuming that's the one where he kills Mace Windu. The other 7 games are Golden Axe Classics, Shining Force Classics, Streets of Rage Classic, Streets of Rage 2 Classic, Super Monkey Ball Sakura Edition, Virtua Tennis Challenge, and Crazy Taxi Classic. These games are part of Sega Forever, Sega's program to release their retro library onto mobile devices, surely as a marketing tool to keep Sega in the minds of gamers forever. It's a massive success, too, being discontinued in September 2023, which really does seem like forever ago. Now, Sega doesn't have to delist these games. They're only entering an end-of-service phase, as pointed out by this helpful pop-up whenever you launch the games. But they are now free to download and play. No in-app purchases, no ads, just free. So while I may never actually play these games, I absolutely have already taken advantage of getting some shit for free. And I hear you asking yourself, this is sounding awfully familiar. You're right. I already talked about Sega discontinuing games in August of 2024. Look, there I am. Aren't I cute? But that's not all. I also talked about it in April of 2022. Let's have a listen. It's Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary, still, probably, and the celebration just keeps spin-dashing. Sega is taking great pains to ensure that everyone gets a chance to enjoy Sonic by delisting all of the good Sonic games from all platforms. That's right, I didn't even bother changing the opening script. But wow, with Sega delisting so many games, do they even have anything left to play? Oh shit, right, Graham, I need to take some time off.
I know some of you get your gaming news from us, which is wild to me, but sounds delightful, because for those of us waist deep in the nonsense, we've heard a lot this week about MindsEye, a hilarious flop of a supposed AAA game from some former Rockstar developers, most notably Leslie Benzies, former president of GTA developers Rockstar North. Apparently, developer Build a Rocket Boy was making a tech demo, and then that turned into a community-created content engine, and then that turned into what was sold as a GTA-style open-world action game, but actually ended up being one of the worst-reviewed games of 2025. At one point before launch, co-CEO Mark Gerhard said that the early negative reaction to the game was an obvious, concerted effort funded by outside forces, and that it didn't take much to guess who. Imagine my relief when I found out he only meant Rockstar Games. And there was hardly any early reaction because review copies were not sent out. There was no early access for influencers, both of which are signs of zero confidence in your own game. There were sponsored streams on launch day, though. Sadly, we were not approached, but some who were had the sponsored stream canceled while they were live.
What? Okay. The sponsor just paused the sponsored stream.
Apparently, the game itself is just very undercooked, or totally cooked. I'm not sure which slang we're supposed to use, but it's definitely not so back. It's buggy and clunky and claims to be open world, but doesn't let you do open world stuff, and everything feels poorly thought out and haphazardly executed. One player even theorized that the first 2 hours of the game are loaded with cutscenes, so players don't experience enough gameplay to realize it's bad until after the 2-hour refund window, which is an absolute conspiracy theory of an idea that, to be clear, I do not remotely believe, but it is very funny to think about. For those who do somehow beat the game, they're rewarded with open world mode, except there's still basically nothing to do in this supposedly open world, and there is no character customization. You are locked to this guy. You cannot change how he looks, and you cannot change his car. It's almost like nobody cared. For a staggering contrast to this story, enjoy this note on Hideo Kojima, who cares too much and purposefully made his game worse. In an interview with Rolling Stone, musician Woodkid, a Kojima Productions collaborator, said that Kojima was annoyed to learn that playtesters were enjoying Death Stranding 2 too much, saying, quote, "That means something is wrong." According to Woodkid, this led Kojima to alter some of the narrative after saying, "If everyone likes it, it means it's mainstream. It's conventional." And I know that sounds like hipster nonsense, but there's a little nuance. As he continued, "I want people to end up liking things they didn't like when they first encountered it, because that's where you really end up loving something." From my perspective, I would be so happy for people to even just like my work the first time that I can't imagine going back to make it less approachable so that when people learn to like it, they actually love it. But I suppose that's why I'm doing comedy gaming news on YouTube and Kojima has 2 different Death Stranding movies in production. I want a CheckPoint anime.
The games industry is awash with tales of people trying to buy back or catch up with their youth. But apparently this can even happen before you're old enough to legally make unwise decisions. At age 7, Angelos Mako of Greece played Dungeon Rampage with every spare moment he could, sneaking onto the computer he shared with his brother, while his parents loudly went through their divorce in the next room. The game became his personal safe space, where he could focus on wave-clearing strategies and enjoy a well-earned victory, spending enough attention on his hobby to dull the pain of his home life. Sadly, one morning in 2017, as he was looking forward to rampaging some dungeons, he was instead greeted by the ominous announcement that Dungeon Rampage had closed shop. The game was running on Facebook, after all, and times for that corner of the video game world were going from boom to bust. Mako was heartbroken. Like so many JRPG protagonists, he vowed to bring justice back to the world, or at least Rampage back to the dungeon. He would resurrect Dungeon Rampage from the trash heap of its former masters so that gamers across the globe could once again share in the thrill of the Rampage. And weirdly, this 7-year-old's far-fetched dream came true. Angelos finished school and discovered a Discord server with other like-minded enthusiasts pining to reboot the game. The group had vision, but not a lot of concrete progress. In 2024, Mako took over the project and immediately attempted to secure the copyright for Dungeon Rampage. He had a screen grab of the game's credits, and he started hunting these devs down one by one. Not like, you know what I mean. Jason Young, the original creative director, took Mako's call and passed him along to Mike Goslin, who had run Rebel Entertainment, the studio that produced Dungeon Rampage, and then Goslin graciously introduced him to the CEO of their parent company, and the two hashed out a license agreement. I told you all that in one run-on sentence, but I imagine it took weeks of effort. And honestly, this is where the story almost loses me, because game devs accepting well-intentioned emails and replying, I can believe. Actual living humans do still make some games, but getting access to an IP license without the backing of any studio, rich patron, or nepotistic connection? The guy's last name is Mako. Are we sure the Lifestream of the Planet didn't choose him specifically for this mission? Because if so, I gotta ask, Lifestream, who did you send to help out with all the other stuff? Anyway, after acquiring the license, Mako needed to actually build the game. He reached out to Scott Rogers, whose book he had just read, and Rogers agreed to help him find a path forward. They wound up in talks with Game Breaking Studios, and while there was interest, there wasn't enough money. Then Angelos finished working through his 10-year-old screenshot of the credits and found an engineer who believed he may still have the original source code on a laptop he had given to his 7-year-old daughter to play with. And boy, is Angelos lucky that this engineer wasn't Nelson, because Nelson's daughter has to clear off hard drive space on the daily so she can fit more pictures of herself filtered to look like an animal. Thanks, CapCut. Anyway, Shout out that one 7-year-old for not deleting the last remnants of a popular hack and slash from the 2010s, because with the source code in tow, Angelos was able to get game breaking into a deal. They couldn't resist the challenge of resurrecting a game that hadn't run in a decade. And sure enough, it did turn out to be a Flash game that was also somehow written in C++ and had a PHP backend duct taped on there. Yikes. But they did it, and then funded their Kickstarter in a single day, and now anyone that yearns for the halcyon days of 2016 can wishlist the early access release on Steam. As soon as there was a confirmed playable version, Angelos Mako wept over a Zoom call, and then played the game for 2 days straight, barely pausing to tend to his human form. I guess you found those unwise decisions after all, hero of the live stream.
Marvel Snap, the mobile card game Kathleen plays too much of, has once again angered its fan base, this time by changing the game's beloved high-voltage limited time mode. Since that's a meaningless sentence unless you're a real snap head. Is that what they call themselves?
Absolutely not.
Well, we got the office's resident snaphead Kathleen to write us this report, which she insisted we read verbatim. Then she added good luck and one of those smiley faces that looks kind of sarcastic. I'm Kathleen now. Marvel Snap is getting review bombed, and this time developer Second Dinner almost sorta deserves it for turning a game mode that was generally considered to be a nice break from the grind into something that's literally pay to win. Buckle up, kids, here's some deep Snap history so I can tell myself I haven't wasted untold hours of my life on this game. Every month or so, Marvel Snap has a limited time game mode that rewards you for playing it with a special event currency that can be traded for prizes. The first limited time game mode was Deadpool's Diner, and it was a fucking miserable slog, but everyone worked their way through it to get Cassandra Nova, since that was the top prize, and she was a legitimately good tech card. The next limited time game mode was High Voltage, and it was so good and fun. I don't remember what the rewards were, which means they were mid, but I still played it, as did everyone else. Occasionally a curmudgeon would post on the Reddit saying it wasn't sweaty enough, or that it didn't waste enough of their time, but the community ignored those people. After that, there was an improved Deadpool's Diner that was the same amount of grind, but for a worst prize. Another High Voltage, yay, and a Doctor Strange-themed Sanctum mode that was fine. But a clear trend was emerging every time one of these events showed up. If you wanted the best prizes, you really had to grind, and the grind was getting worse and worse each time. So now they've reworked High Voltage to make it way more random and unpredictable, which would be sorta okay if you didn't also have to win an incredible 975 games to get enough currency for the top prize. Oh, and that's on top of playing every 8 hours to claim every single timed bonus available. Basically, it's not possible to earn the best prize just by playing, and that's by design. Per a statement from the developer, quote, most rewards in the limited time game mode shop will be fully earnable using limited time game mode currencies alone. However, some top tier items may require additional gameplay in other modes to earn enough gold to make up the difference. For example, Kid Omega from HVO is priced in the shop at a premium to that of a standard Series 5 card. Players who want to acquire it can use their earned volts to reduce the cost by buying it directly and supplementing with gold. Alternatively, players can use gold to purchase bonus mission refreshes that help them earn more volts. If you're having a hard time figuring out what that avalanche of proper nouns means, don't worry, here's a summary. If you want it, just buy it. Is this tone deaf? Yes. Is this a betrayal of the player base's trust? Only if you're gullible. Surely all my fellow frogs have noticed the water's been heating up for months now. Is this a reason to quit Snap? Definitely. Will anyone quit Snap? Of course not. The sunk cost fallacy does tremendous work. What will you do, Kathleen? Get an emote and some mystery variants, play exclusively while I'm on the toilet, and write a big checkpoint story like the hero I am. And then there's several purple paragraphs of congratulatory prose that segue into what appears to be box text.
What does the box text say?
Make me a perception check.
Oh, that's a 1.
Deep within you, a forgotten memory stirs. Instructions that were once so vital they were imprinted on your very DNA. Danger, they whisper, squeaking in the voice of a terrified monkey.
Well, that's it for Checkpoint. Coming up, the collector's edition of Borderlands 4 will include all all manner of tat, but won't include an actual copy of the game. This is a growing trend in collector's editions, but remember, Randy Pitchford believes Borderlands fans have a magical way of making it happen. So it'll probably all work out. First time, every time.
What are the chances?
1 in 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just correct.
That felt very good to do that.
Yeah. Can I say that in your Sega's classic story,
Oh, good.
you know what bugs the crap out of me? Nothing you did.
Oh, yeah, fair. Okay.
Golden Axe Classics.
Which is, okay, keep going.
Shining Force Classics.
I know what you're about to say, yes.
Streets of Rage Classic. Mm-hmm. Streets of Rage 2 Classic.
Yes.
Crazy Taxi Classic.
Yes. Do you know
Is there
why?
more than one game in the Golden Axe and Shining Force games?
Yes. Golden Axe Classics is 1, 2, and 3. Shining Force Classics is 1 and 2, and I think there's another one. And it was weird when I was writing that, too, because I'm like, why did they decide to change this? Oh, that makes sense. There's multiple games baked into those. So I say it's 7 games. It's more like 13 games or whatever.
I'm surprised you didn't go for the classic CheckPoint joke of featuring 13 classic Sega games and Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2.
I was so tempted. You have no idea. I was trying to pick one of the other lists because I'm like, I could say Sonic CD Classic. That would
Not
be funny
Episode
too.
1?
Yeah, I don't know why they never made that one, but what's funny, so Sega Forever is interesting too because apparently the impetus of it was also they were supposed to be re-implementations. They were supposed to be ports, not emulations.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true for everything involved or not. I have to assume because that's what they said they were doing, is that's what was going on. But also, the idea was we're going to release a bunch of games from every platform they ever made, like up to including Dreamcast, apparently.
Wow.
And that would also include games that like hadn't been released in North America. So Girl's Garden, which is a game by Yuji Naka, I believe that's, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like a game that didn't get a lot of play anywhere else. It was only in Japan. They're like, we'll release that in North America. They never did. There was a lot of things they said they were going to do. These mostly, I think, tend to be like almost entirely either Sega Master System, SG-1000 Sega Master System, or Genesis games. I don't know if any of those was a Dreamcast. Maybe Super Monkey Ball was a Dreamcast game. But yeah, it's kind of like, we're going to bring out a new one of these every month or every few weeks or whatever. There's going to be just a whole bunch of these coming out. And then at a certain point that just kind of like petered off into like longer and longer spans in between time. Because I'm like, that's a lot of work to do that, to constantly bring that stuff out. And yeah, it's cool that they want to do it, but it just kind of seems like it's yet another way of, we're going to release a bunch of games so everyone can play all the old shit over and over again. And then we're going to take it away from you over and over again. That I was like, oh, we're back in this boat again. That everyone gets a chance to enjoy Sonic by fucking up their note grab.
Apart from the little clip we played in the very beginning there, have you seen much of MindsEye?
That was the first I'd ever seen of it.
Yeah.
And I just nearly fell off my chair. I'm like, you thought it was acceptable to have like that kind of clipping path on your vehicle?
So I didn't mention it in the story, but Sony is offering refunds. Not like they didn't make like a big deal of it like they did with Cyberpunk, but if you if you bought it on PlayStation and you approach Sony and you're like, this is busted, we have evidence that they have refunded people, which they don't normally do.
Like Cyberpunk? Did they do it with Concord? Concord never sold.
I mean, not many people bought it, but they did refund people who bought it because they shut it down after a week and a half or whatever. But yeah, that's atypical behavior. And it's here's the thing that like drives me mad about the like, oh, someone's out to get us, all this negative reaction. It's obviously funded by, wink, wink. It's got to be Rockstar. And I say, thank God he meant Rockstar. But even if your game was amazing, Rockstar doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Rockstar's not going to, no other game is going to prevent GTA 6 from selling as much as GTA 6 is going to sell.
Yeah.
Even if your game was astounding, Rockstar would not be in a position where they're like, oh, you know what we should do?
Invest company resources.
Yeah. It's spreading rumors on Reddit that this game might be bad.
Yeah.
Like, that is delusional to an astonishing degree.
Yeah.
And then, the fact that it came out with no one getting a review copy, which is always suspicious. You know, there was no early access stuff. And we played that one clip of Co-Carnage, but I saw another clip of someone with a sponsored stream who like played it and then was like, he can barely stop himself from laughing, being like, well, so that's available on Steam. Check it out.
When you do a sponsor stream for something, you have to be like deferential to the sponsor, obviously.
I mean,
right?
sometimes like so when we do, here's a peek behind the curtain. Generally speaking, we make sure that when we're doing a sponsored stream, it's the kind that they're like, they'll tell us like, hey, these are things that we'd like you to mention, and that's fine because it's that they are marketing. But we haven't done streams that have any kind of clause about like, you're not allowed to be negative about the game. You're not allowed to say, it's like, hey, if we're going to do a sponsor stream, fine, but we're going to say how we feel about the game.
Yeah.
As it happens, we don't do that many sponsor streams. And when we do, it's like, oh, there's enough people working here that it's like, oh, when we did the most recent one, I think we did was 2 Point Museum.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh, Serge and Kathleen would love this game.
Yeah.
Let's get them do it rather than someone else here who might not be in that sort of genre, right?
Exactly.
Like that wouldn't be well served.
Yeah.
But some companies, and I predict this is one of them, do try to put clauses like that in their contracts, and I would not accept a contract like that.
Yeah.
But some people will, and when you're in a position where it's like, boy, the game I've been playing for 2 hours is really bad, but I got to say this ad copy.
Yeah.
You're like, well. You can wish list this game. That is a thing you are able to do.
The game is currently for sale on this service,
It is presently available. Mm-hmm. I almost want to get it for content, but it's so expensive for like you said, watch and play, right?
Yeah.
Like it's and I've spent a lot of money on bad games for watch and play, but this is a full price game.
Yeah.
My worry though is that like if it goes on sale, by then they will have like fixed some of the bugs.
Right.
But they can't fix it. It's just bad. So.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Thank you for tuning in though to what we do, and when you sponsor our streams through patreon.com/loadingreadyrun and all the other stuff we make here, including CheckPoint, that's a big help to us, and we don't agree to any contract with you. So I guess. Well, I don't know what I can say to you.
Thank you for trusting us to do this.
The show is available on many services.
This show can be watched.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can expose it to other people if you want, and they can't hold that against you.
I don't think we control that.
No, not really.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.
It's a massive success. It's a massive success. It's a massive success. Massive. Shh. Oh God, I wrote this shit.
Sega, Sonic can't hurt you any more than you want him to. I want a CheckPoint anime.